Calls for Trump's impeachment continue to swirl on Capitol Hill, plus COVID cases surge as officials rush to roll out more vaccines, and the Pierce City community comes together to raise funds for a rare neurodevelopmental disorder.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other House Democrats are laying plans for impeaching President Trump again after his supporters violently stormed the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday. This is KOAM News at 6. I'm Kate Kelly. CBS News correspondent Tom Hansen reports from New York.
Hello, Patriots!
Heavily armed supporters of President Trump gathered in Minneapolis Saturday for a Stop the Steal protest.
We want Donald Trump to resign!
While anti-Trump demonstrators rallied in front of Chicago's Trump Tower, in New York's Times Square, and in a handful of other cities. As Washington, D.C. prepares for President-elect Joe Biden's January 20th inauguration, security is being tightened around the city. With less than 2 weeks before President Trump leaves the White House, congressional Democrats are preparing to bring articles of impeachment against him as early as Monday.
It was an act of sedition that was incited and encouraged by Donald Trump. And that's why he must be held accountable to the full extent of the law.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi spoke to Leslie Stahl for this Sunday's 60 Minutes.
Sadly, the person who's running the executive branch is a deranged, unhinged, dangerous president of the United States.
The draft article of impeachment, incitement of insurrection, alleges President Trump's conduct on Wednesday gravely endangered the security of the United States. He would be the first president to be impeached twice, but some Republicans believe there just isn't enough time.
I've got enough decisions to make about things that can happen rather than to spend time on things that can't happen.
The Justice Department continues to pursue charges in connection with the assault on the Capitol. That includes Adam Johnson of Florida, allegedly seen carrying Speaker Pelosi's lectern during the rampage, and Jacob Anthony Chansley, believed to be this shirtless man wearing horns, a bearskin headdress, and face paint, was also arrested. Tom Hansen, CBS News.
Alaska's Lisa Murkowski became the first GOP senator to call for President Trump to resign. Nick Kelly joins us now with our first look at weather, and it's definitely another cold one out there.
But at least we kept things pretty quiet overall, Kate, for this Saturday. It was nice to see the radar, the Skywatch storm tracker staying relatively dry, if not, I should say, rather completely dry. But we are socked in with mostly cloudy skies. That will be the predominant rule of thumb throughout the course of the night. But that cloud cover is hinting at our storm system. I say our storm system. It's going to be a wallop of a storm system for parts of Texas and Oklahoma as we go into Sunday, with a snowstorm for them getting ready to unfold. But around here, where it's cloudy and cold, most of us already back in the lower 30s. But with a light breeze, northeast, if not north, at about 5 miles per hour, and mostly cloudy skies, I don't think we'd go too much colder from here on out. We'll fall into the upper 20s within the next few hours and eventually drop back into the mid-20s by morning. We'll see how the week ahead is shaping up here in just a bit, Kate.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Nick. A Pierce City family is raising awareness for a rare genetic disorder. Elizabeth Hilton and Justin Cartmill organized Dash for Dash with the hopes of raising awareness for DeSanto-Chenaui syndrome. According to the DESSH Foundation, the syndrome is a rare genetic disorder that causes developmental delay, intellectual disability, feeding difficulty, and seizures. The disease was first diagnosed in 2014, and there's only been 70 people in the world diagnosed with it. One of them is their 3-year-old son, Patrick. So they're working to raise funds for more research to try and help others.
A lot of the kids who've had it have actually been misdiagnosed most of their life.
Oh, wow.
So that's another reason why we're here, to try to kind of spread awareness and get them what they need.
They also held a virtual run, so anyone who wanted to participate in a different area could still take part. We'll hear more about Patrick and the disorder tonight at 10. COVID cases continue to climb across the U.S. There were more than 283,000 new infections in the nation on Friday. More than 3,500 people died. Just over 6.5 million Americans have been vaccinated. Tom Hansen is in Brooklyn, New York, where a 24-hour vaccine hub is set to open this weekend.
The number of people who received their first vaccination doubled this week, 6 million as of Friday, a number, though, that pales in comparison to the number of people sick and suffering. Ofelia Reynoso says she was so careful she never expected to be gasping for breath, laboring each word. Yet she's lucky. Hospital beds are in short supply in Los Angeles, where she's being treated. And nationally, a record 4,000 deaths were reported on Thursday.
It is going to get much worse before it gets better.
Mobile mortuaries have already set up outside hospitals in Los Angeles, where a person dies every 8 minutes. Even as military teams are now helping some overwhelmed hospitals, LA's mayor is concerned that care will have to be rationed.
If you can spare a doctor or a nurse, if you can spare anything, please send it here. We're Americans.
California is one of at least 8 states where the highly contagious variant of the virus has been detected. But the makers of the vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna, report they're confident their vaccines will also protect against the new strain. New Yorkers may also be able to get the jab at 500 pharmacies statewide. And concerned health officials say that at the current rate, vaccinating the entire city could take 4 years to do. Tom Hansen, CBS News, New York.
The London ambulance service has been taking up to 8,000 emergency calls a day, with hospitals in the UK capital pushed to the breaking point by the rapid spread of the coronavirus. COVID hospitalizations are up 27%. Police officers in London have been drafted in to drive ambulances to help ease some of the pressure on the health service. We take this time now to honor another four-state hero. John Fraser joined the Army in 2006, spending time stationed in Iraq. His hometown, Miami, Oklahoma. We thank you, John Fraser, our four-state hero. That's news and weather in our first 7 minutes. Just ahead, details on an ICU nurse's recovery from COVID-19. Why doctors say her survival is nothing short of a miracle. The importance of flu shots for frontline workers and the benefits of skin-to-skin contact between a father and newborn. Elise Preston has a look at some of the week's top health stories.
A new study highlights the benefits of skin-to-skin contact between a father and baby after a C-section delivery. Researchers found laying the newborn on their dad's chest when the mom and baby had to be separated helped stabilize the infant's heart rate and promote wakefulness. New research finds common blood pressure medications are safe for patients hospitalized with COVID-19. There was early concern the medications could make COVID more severe, but researchers found no evidence of that during an international trial with more than 150 patients. And state laws requiring flu shots for healthcare workers may be key in protecting the elderly. That's according to researchers in the U.S. and Australia, who found those laws helped reduce mortality rates from pneumonia and influenza by almost 3%. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
A nurse who has spent decades working with patients in the ICU has survived COVID-19. She was recently released from St. Mary Medical Center in Long Beach, where staff are calling her recovery a miracle. Jasmine Veal has more on the nurse's recovery and her message to others.
The day before Christmas, 66-year-old Merlin Pambuan walked out of St. Mary Medical Center in Long Beach to cheers of encouragement and clapping from the people who saved her life. Her daughter Chantel at her side. For 8 months, Pambuan, an ICU nurse here at the hospital, had been in the fight of her life against COVID.
Honestly, I was very, very surprised. There's 100 people down there waiting for me and cheering me. And I said, oh my God. And I start crying.
For 40 years, Pambuan cared for some of the sickest patients in the ICU until she became a patient herself on April 12th and tested positive for COVID-19.
Before she walked out that door that night, I said, Mom, you better promise you're going to come back home. And she looked at me and I was like, you better promise. And she said, yeah, okay.
Pambuan spent the next 3 months in the ICU. As her condition worsened, she was intubated, had a feeding tube inserted, and put on a ventilator. Chantel was eventually allowed to be with her mom and never gave up hope.
Mom has been that champion for me. I have cerebral palsy, spastic diplegia, and I haven't been able to walk since birth.
Fellow nurse Pam Fair, who hired and worked closely with Pambuan for decades, says she was there when Pambuan was rushed to the ICU.
When they brought her out to take her to the ICU, you almost couldn't even recognize her. She looked that bad. It's hard to explain to people that don't work in a hospital, but they become your second family.
By October, Pambuan was transferred to a rehab center to learn to walk and talk again.
I'm going to fight this COVID. I've been saying it too many times. Go away. I'm going to fight you.
She celebrated her 66th birthday in the hospital and finally got to go home.
She's a miracle. We're sitting here next to each other in our living room.
Pambuan was given remdesivir right when it was starting to be used as a treatment for COVID. Today, she is still on oxygen 24/7 and going through hours of intensive therapy every single day. She doesn't yet know if she will ever return to her duties as a nurse.
Up next, Nick Kelly returns with a full look at your forecast, and a little later we'll check out some crafty fun in Carthage.
We enjoyed at least a quiet day as we continue on with our weekend. I just wish we could have had a little bit more sun to help temperatures out. In fact, the best we could do today, kind of similar to what we fared yesterday. We topped out in the mid to upper 30s yesterday, dropping to 23 at last check of Joplin Regional, and only back into the mid and some upper 30s for this afternoon. Looking down the road for the rest of the week ahead of us, in fact, the entire week ahead of us, I'm seeing us staying cold for Sunday, but we'll stay dry before we start to turn cooler on Monday. Highs back in the lower 40s. I'm seeing above normal temperatures for the middle of the week. Even though we stayed chilly, I see highs back in the 50s by Tuesday through Thursday, and then we'll see what our next system will do by the time it wants to swing in by next weekend, the start of it at least. As for where we stand right now, it's quiet in Joplin, partly to mostly cloudy skies, 31 degrees, a calm breeze, and that breeze is going to stay calm for the rest of the night, meaning temperatures won't be dropping off very much. We're sitting in the lower 30s right now, most spots between 30 and 33 degrees. With that light north breeze at 5 miles per hour, which is what we've seen all day long, with the cloud cover up top, again, I don't see us dropping much more from here on out. We'll just slowly drop back into the upper 20s by 8 o'clock, 27 by midnight, and mainly in the mid-20s as we get your Sunday morning started. Plenty of cloud cover on top, no doubt about that, but nothing underneath the clouds, and we're going to keep things pretty much dry as our next storm system edges out of the Rockies and out of New Mexico. In fact, at the surface, you can see that counterclockwise swirl between Albuquerque and El Paso. That's where the surface low is. While we're stuck underneath high pressure, at least we're not going to have to deal with the half a foot of snow that at least some parts of Texas will have to put up with as the snowstorm gets going. Here's the upper low to also aid in the snow for parts of the southern plains. And once we get past this low, we get this upper level ridge to send us back into the 50s as we go into the middle part of next week. In fact, let's walk through the jet stream setup here. You can see how this upper level low keeps the majority, if not all, of the snow across southern Oklahoma and across much of Texas. And that snow even wants to extend pretty close to Houston. Kind of amazing considering you rarely see snow make it down that far south in Texas. For us, though, we're going to keep things pretty dry and see that jet stream sneak back to the north by the middle of the week. That means highs back in the mid-50s, a good 10 degrees above normal. Then by Friday morning, we could see our next storm system mainly pass to the north, but close enough here that we may have to watch for a few rain or snow showers. But temperatures will definitely turn quite a bit cooler once we get into next weekend. As far as tonight goes, again, mostly cloudy skies in place, along with a light north breeze, means temperatures not cooling down much more. We're in the lower 30s now. I'm expecting most of us to drop off to about 26 degrees. Looking at the rest of our day for tomorrow, mostly cloudy to start the afternoon. Then I'm thinking partly sunny skies. So a little more sun by the end of the afternoon, with most of us topping out around 38. The 7-day forecast pushes us to 41 on Monday with partly sunny skies, mostly sunny Tuesday with highs near 52, mid-50s Wednesday and Thursday. We better enjoy it, Kate, before we see our next storm system maybe give us a few rain and snow showers by Friday morning, but more importantly, before we drop back into the 40s by the weekend.
All right, sounds good, Nick. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some sunshine.
And temperatures in the 50s. Those are pretty hard to come by for January.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Thanks, Nick. Coming up next, it's rivalry week for Pittsburg State and Missouri Southern basketball. Plus, Joplin and Webb City square off in the Kaminsky Classic Championship. Sports director Jacob Leonard has highlights next.
This weekend is rivalry weekend for Pittsburg State and Missouri Southern. The two teams meet this afternoon in Pittsburg for their first of two scheduled meetings. And on the women's side, Lions and Gorillas both hot right now. They each enter on a 4-game winning streak. A good start for Moso. Carly Turnbull knocks down the 3. 18 for Turnbull in this one. Then the freshman, Caitlin Honeycutt, knocks down the pull-up 3. She had 15. Other end, second quarter, Kaylee DeMitz looking for her shot. Money there, but Southern opens up a 10-point halftime lead. Now here comes Pitt State in the third. Just great pass here from Sydney Crane to Kaylee DeMitz. DeMitz drops a game-high 25. Now late in the third, these were two big shots from Jamie Jackson. Top of the key there, right corner on the next three. Gorillas within two going to the fourth. You knew she was going to show up in this highlight sometime, right? Tristan Gegg, lead change. Gorillas grab their first lead a minute into the fourth. Maya Williams doing the same thing moments later. Gorillas erase a double-digit deficit tonight to get by Southern 70-67. It's the fifth straight win for Pitt State.
When we came out of halftime, we kind of just like, okay, we got it. Like, we just got to get one stop, score, stop. It's just one possession, every time. And Jamie hit those 2 threes. And I think that was really the turning point.
Winning gives you confidence, and so I think right now we're a confident team, and so I think that showed in the second half that we had been in those situations before and we toughed it out this game.
To the men's game now, Gorillas try to get above 500 today against the rival Lions. First half, Cam Martin pulls up for 3. 33 points tonight from Martin. Then Stan Scott there for the two-handed jam. Pitt State, though, closes out the half strong. Bobby Arthur Williams, corner 3. He finishes with 22. Gorillas up 8 at the break. Early third, Martin votes, dude got hot. Going to the rim, scores and the foul. Then steps out, nails the 3. Pitt State up 15 with 15 to go. I'm telling you, man, Votes just a great second half. Another 3. He had a team-high 26 points. 20 of those came in the second half. Gorilla men make it a sweep, winning this one 83-67. Well, it's championship day at the Kaminsky Classic at Joplin High School. Tournament host Joplin Eagles are in the title game after going 2-0 in pool play this week. Now, Joplin meets Webb City in the championship. Now, the Cards 7-1, ranked 8th in the state in Class 5. Now, Webb City opens up scoring. Put back here from Luke Brummett. Cards up 4. Until the second, dish goes out to All Right. He knocks down the corner 3. 17 for Wright. Now, into the quarter, Webb City rebounds, but Malik Williams gets the steal and drops it in at the buzzer. 15-0 run for Joplin in the first half. They're up 8 at the break. Third quarter, Webb City comes alive. Brummett in the paint and 1. Webb within 7. Then Alex Martin with the floater and the foul there as well. Webb scored 23 in the third, scored 43 in the second half. Cards are Kaminsky Classic champions 66-55.
That's a mark of a good team and a senior-led team. Our juniors and seniors really stepped up there and they kept composed. And you know, a lot of teams might struggle in that situation, but these guys, they've been through a lot of tough games, a lot of tight games, and just proud of their effort.
In the Big 12 today, both KU and K-State at home facing Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. This full screen is messed up, man. KU gets by the Sooners 63-59. Now I know the words are over there and the score's over there, but K-State currently trails Oklahoma State 33-24 at halftime. That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
I think we've probably all been craving a little bit of sunshine during this cold and cloudy month. Today, some quilters got together in Carthage to craft something to keep themselves warm and lift some spirits. The Quilters Corner Station in Carthage offered a hooked rug and sunflower stand class that several locals decided to take advantage of.
Then once you learn the basic craft, then everything becomes your own, because I may not choose a color that someone else would, and then you just see people bloom and grow. And I mean, some of my students that have been in here, it's fun. They're like, can I do this? Can I do that? And I'm like, yes, do it.
The class cost $40, and Nick, it really looks like they had a whole lot of fun doing it.
Absolutely, and hopefully they've stayed warm while they did so as well. We're going to stay cold for tomorrow once again, 38 degrees, 41 Monday, 50s through the middle of the week. We'll enjoy that before we head back into the cooler by Friday.
All right, thanks, Nick, and thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here at 10.